So real quick, we're going to talk about a safety aspect of a piece of equipment that I've shown you guys, the suspension trainer. And then you have resistance bands. Essentially, there's a right and a wrong way to set a door anchor. I had a buddy who I was showing how to do bicep curls with the resistance bands, and we set the door anchor, but the anchor itself was a small door anchor meant for a suspension trainer, not for resistance bands. And the fabric of the strap itself actually tore itself free from the ball that was inside on the opposite side, like this square is. And the resistance band, all 100 pounds of pull, along with the D-ring, came straight at his face and struck him right underneath the eye, and luckily no long-term damage. It was a miracle. That being said, when you get a piece of equipment like a suspension trainer or resistance bands, you want a door anchor that has a significant back surface that goes on the other side of the door so that it can't slip through the crack if too much tension's on it and it won't tear free. That also being said, you can go to Academy Sports, Dick's Sporting Goods, and you can pick up additional door anchors in the resistance band aisle that have a nice, about tennis ball sized ball on the end, along with the strap protrudes from it. And as in the rule of 2 for climbing, always double up, you can set 2 anchors on the door and then put the D-ring through both loops. That way, if one door anchor fails, the other door anchor is still set to back you up. Now, aside from that, in all the years I've been using suspension trainers and resistance bands, I have never before or since had that happen where a door anchor properly mounted came free. But doubling up doesn't hurt, especially if you're new to this and you're not really familiar with it, just to be extra safe. So 2 anchors are better than 1. I'm going to talk about actually setting up the door anchor. First things first, you want to set up the door anchor on the hinge side, not the non-hinge side, not the doorknob side. If you set up the anchor on the non-hinge side of the door handle side, it can actually pull with enough weight on it, body weight, or even worse, if you have like a resistance band with 100 pounds and you're doing, say, a chest fly, and this pulls the door forward enough that this anchor can slip through, you will have a D-ring hurtling at the back of your neck in a split second at a high rate of speed, and you won't even know it until it's striking you. So it's imperative that when you set up this anchor, we always set it up on the hinge side of the door. So when you go to set it up, you just slide the loop end through, leaving the anchor on the other side. You want to be close to the hinge. Pull it tight, make sure it's not loose. You want to be close to the hinge, but not right on the hinge, so that that metal doesn't rub up against and slowly cause abrasions or tears in the actual strap. Because over time, that wear and tear will jeopardize the integrity or compromise the integrity of the strap itself. So you want it near the hinge as possible without it touching the hinge. Right? And then from there, you'll just put your D-ring in and use your resistance bands. Now, talking about D-rings, this is an actual climbing D-ring, right? It's rated for like 500, 1,000 pounds, whatever. It will say on a D-ring, if you buy it from Dick's Sporting Goods or REI or Academy, whether or not it is intended for climbing. If you buy a D-ring and it doesn't say that it's intended for climbing, or you're not sure, if you buy some cheapy little keychain D-ring and you try to use this with 100 pounds of pull on a resistance band, it will snap in half because there's a good chance it's made out of graphite and not steel or aluminum or whatever else, right? So make sure that it's a climbing D-ring intended for climbing and holding a significant amount of weight, or that it's the actual D-ring that the factory device comes with, like the suspension trainer. And you just put it right through the loop and clip it on. And that is ideally how to set an anchor properly. Also, if I'm going to do like a rotator cuff type movement and I need it a little bit lower, I'll just set it next to this hinge. If I'm doing a low to high bicep curl, I'll set it beneath this hinge, but still always keeping the strap close to the hinge without allowing it to rub up against the hinge when I close the door. And on the opposite side, all the way through to the anchor, I want it flush. I don't want any twists. I want to make sure that it runs flush from the anchor through the door and then flush like that, so that it's not, there's no twists or anything like that that could cause damage to the strap or create a gap to where something could slip through, something to that effect. If it's on the hinge side, you shouldn't have any problems with it. And like I said too, you know, if it makes you nervous at all, I've never had aside from that one incident, I've never had a anchor actually come loose on me. But if you're nervous about it, buy an additional one for like $5 from Dick's, REI, Academy, Amazon, whatever, and just double up. And that is essentially how to set a door anchor.